So the first thing I want to talk about is women's hockey. Team Canada. I watched a couple of their games, and it looks like, and the way they play, it's like they have no competition. So I'm going to ask Kelsey. Kelsey, am I wrong in the way I'm thinking, or the way I'm interpreting what's going on in the big screen? All right, do these girls look like they have no competition, or are they the only competition in the Olympics in women's hockey?
You know, the Canadian women's hockey team is definitely a major force to be reckoned with. I think the next closest competitor we have is the American women. But it's, I mean, in some ways, you know, there is better funding at the younger levels.
So that was my question. Is Canadian funding and American funding huge? Because I read somewhere that the Swedes put all their money, like 96.9% of their money in the men's hockey, and they put very little in the women's. Is there any truth to that, or is that just superficial media hype?
Yes and no. When you look at the younger levels, like first off, in Finland and Sweden, parents can send their kids into these organized hockey programs for next to nothing. It's something like 500 euros a year, and most of the clubs will either provide the equipment or, you know, heavily subsidize a rental. So that makes the sport incredibly accessible at the junior level, but, you know, unfortunately a lot of that funding just isn't available at the upper levels. So once the women in these countries get out of the major junior level, there just isn't as many resources available.
Yeah, but Frenchie, have you watched any of the women's hockey in the Olympics, Frenchie?
Haven't missed a game.
Good boy, good. I haven't missed a game either.
But remember, we're not...
I am shocked at the power that these... And I'm shocked at the nastiness. There's some fucking nasty people in this. I mean, they push. Team Canada, I think they... Oh, fuck. I forget which team they played, but they were near the net. They weren't breaking any rules. They were fighting for the puck. I don't know if it was Finland. I forget who the team was. But they were elbowing the Canadians in the back of the head. I mean, it looked like an NHL game. It has all the tenacity, all the ambition, and I emphasize ambition because you need ambition if you're going to win a game. You know, there's positive ambition and there's pompous ambition, the way I look at things. But
Frank, let me say something here. We are not as powerful as we may think. The American ladies are just as powerful, and in any given game they can win.
So are you saying the two powerhouses, and it's inevitable, it's destiny that the American women's Olympic team are going to play the Canadian Olympic team?
It's already it's done.
I was backtracking from the beginning of these great Olympics, and I'm very impressed. I got to tell you, I know that there's a lot of fear-mongering in the press, in the media about the Russians, and you know, the press loves to grab a bone and chew on it like the lions do. Actually, I saw a documentary the other night that destroyed me for life on how the lionesses hunt. And you know, when I come back, ladies and gentlemen, if there is any sort of reincarnation, I want to be a lion. Fuck. You sleep 20 hours a day, and the female they're evil. They're evil.
I know, and they murder their own from another lioness.
No, the males do. The males do so they can make their own lions, right? But their own pride. But I'm saying the other night, and I'm digressing now because that's what you do, Frenchie. You always, jump in there and you throw me a bone. I was watching a documentary, a great documentary, how the lions the lionesses weigh about 300 pounds because they like to stay in good shape, because they want to look good in their fur. They're hunting a buffalo, wild buffalo in Africa, which weigh 1,000 pounds plus, and you got to see what they do. It's incredible. And then the male is licking his private parts and sleeping for 20 hours. And then when the buffet is ready, he eats the best part. The point I'm trying to make is the women's hockey is entertaining. I saw a shot from Team Canada that went off the crossbar that was a vicious snapshot that was as powerful as any man I've seen. I'm a goalie, been playing since I was 6 years old, playing all my life, I still play. Vicious. Their game is a game now. You know, people say women's hockey, whatever. It's not.
Oh, it's good.
No, but it's serious. It reminds me of League of Their Own. Remember when the movie with Madonna and Gina Davis, where they formed their own league? Why? Because all the men were in the war or in the army.
Yeah, that was great.
But the women's Olympic hockey is getting bigger and bigger crowds. Let me ask Kelsey, why are the European countries not funding their women's teams, and the Americans and the Canadians are?
Well, I think where a lot of the women have an advantage is that college sports are just such a bigger deal in North America. Resumes of some of these girls that are playing on the at the Olympic level and gone to really good schools. They've gone to, University of Michigan, gone to Boston College, they've gone to Boston University, Vermont, and these are all schools that consistently produce male athletes that are, phenomenal at the NHL level. So I really think where in North America a lot of the women have the advantage is that they get to continue their development as an athlete with under the same sort of umbrella that that their male counterparts are getting, and that's a huge thing. I mean, even in Scandinavia there is, they do kind of sort of play hockey at a collegiate level, but it's not.
But not to interrupt you, but Kelsey, there's still a little bit of prejudice between male sports and female sports in Scandinavia. Come on. I mean, we're 2014, there's total equality. Women in many things, whether business or other, they're equals, if not superior to men. But sports has always been, a male-dominant viewership.
Yeah, I mean, well, and the other thing is, perhaps it's not so much prejudice as it is a business decision because, there's a women's professional hockey league out there. They have teams in Edmonton, Calgary, Toronto, Boston, and Montreal. It's a very small league. And they're still, they're playing at local because... You're
talking about Canada, right? Because in the United States, college women's hockey, college women's soccer outdoes the NHL in viewership in the United States.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's also an element, too, of, people in the United States support college teams in a way that we can't even fathom. Like, some of these college football teams, the stadium that's on par with some of the ones in the NFL, like, just people bleed for their universities and for their alma maters.
Yeah, but I agree with everything you're saying. But when saying women's sports in college in the United States beats even some male sports in Canada. And one of the biggest ones is women's soccer and some of the women's sports, college in the United States beats professional hockey.
Yeah, and again,
in viewership.
That ties into the fact that people are so devoted to their university team, and it doesn't matter necessarily if it's,
But it's entertaining. It's pretty serious. Like women,
sure.
It goes back to Napoleon. Napoleon, some of his most severe, dangerous troops were women. They would go in and destroy a village. They'd kill everybody. They'd even kick the dog in the head, if not kill him. I'm just saying that I'd rather piss off a group of bikers than a woman.
Well, what did Shakespeare say? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned?
100%. So I'm just saying, watching Olympic women's, it's a quantified sport. The Olympics have quantified it. There's a gold medal up for grabs, yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, too, especially on an Olympic platform, go for gold, and everybody gets really excited when their country has a
and it's emotional.
Serious contender. Well, and, we like to bring home the medals, and who doesn't on an Olympic platform?